All right, y'all. This is Pure Prints 3D, and it is maintenance time for the H2C. So let me show you what I use, and I'll show you the steps and processes that I take for basic maintenance. So to start, we've got some rubbing alcohol, 90 to 99%, paper towels. We've got our gear floss. This is reusable, and you can wash it. These have been used and washed and are ready to go for this round. We've got our Super Lube silicone lubricant grease, and this is going to be for your Z rods. We have our Super Lube synthetic lightweight oil, and this is for your guide rods, or you can use the Omni brush or the oil stick. I have both. And I would highly recommend for the oil, getting yourself one of these bottles with a blunt needle tip if you're going to use the Super Lube to apply it. So let's get into the steps. All right, so if those rods here, your Z rods, are looking nasty, you've got clumped up dirty grease or filament stuck in them, first step I always do is I take a paper towel, some rubbing alcohol, coat it up real nice, and we're just going to wipe away that dirty, nasty, gunky grease, and then afterwards we're going to go through and we're going to show you how to use that Omni wick or gear floss, whatever you're using, to clean those off. And you're just going to hit those rods real good, and next step is going to be the gear floss. All right, so after you've cleared all of the nastiness off the rod, I like to take the gear floss and we're going to run it around the rod like this, and you're going to kind of give it this type of locking motion, and you're just going to slowly run that gear floss, Omni wick, whatever you got, up and down the rod, and you'll see it. It'll start to grab all the stuff that paper towel with alcohol didn't get off the rod, and you can see the wick starting to get that dirty grease out of there, and that's what you want. You want that rod to be nice and clean, so when you apply that fresh grease, you get a nice smooth glide up and down that Z axis screw. And now that they're clean, we're going to apply some fresh grease. And for this step, if you have gloves, it's recommended. If you don't, get your hands dirty. All right, so you can also 3D print yourself, one of these little tools, and this guy fits right on here, and you can apply the grease here. What I like to do is, I put a ample amount on my finger and kind of just run it down the rod like this. And with gloves on, it's much easier. You can kind of just coat that Z rod and, give it a good lube. It needs to have a nice coating on it all the way down to the very bottom. And you can kind of run your fingers around to get that grease nice and in the grooves. And let's say you've got any little, say you got a small dab like that, you can use this tool and kind of run it right up. And if there's any excess, go all the way around the sides, run it up and down your rod. And you're going to do that to all your Z-axis rods. And when you move the bed down, you're going to coat the part that you didn't coat when the bed was up. And that's how you're going to grease your rods. Any excess that builds up around the top or the bottom, you're going to take a clean paper towel and wipe the excess away towards the bottom or the top. All right, and after greasing the rods and moving the bed up and down a couple times, I like to take a precautionary step here, and I use my Omni Layer oil brush, and I'm going to add a little bit of lubricant on all of my guide rods. And if your brush gets dry, just twist that brush, add some more of the lube, and you're going to do that to all your rods, and you're also going to do that to the axis that your print head is going to move along for X and Y as well. And then I'll show you going back through and using this brush to brush on some Super Lube and keep those rods really nice and gliding instead of riding per se. And then the other step you're going to want to take is on the H2C, you're going to want to hit these Vortex rails as well. And you can essentially change this level here of the Vortex, and you'll be able to hit the tops and bottoms of this rod. And you're going to do that with the brush and the Super Lube, and that's what I like to do. Then calibrate and start a print. And she should be running nice and smooth after that. All right, and last but not least, we're going to come in with the Super Lube synthetic oil and our needle bottle. Remove the tip, and we're going to coat all of our Z-axis rods. Give it a nice little squeeze and give us a good little line all the way down there. And we're going to go along the guide rail for the print head on both sides. And we're also going to hit our X and Y-axis guide rods on the top here, and make sure to not get any on the belts on both sides. And then we'll come back through with that nice little brush tip, this guy right here, and we're just going to brush all of that onto those rods nice and evenly and get them nice and coated so that they are fully lubed and ready to glide. And once you do this, run your calibration. If you're doing engineering plates and you have the Vision encoder, it does work great for your H series and X series as well. So it will improve quality by a little bit and make your prints look really good. And this will work for the H2S, the H2C, and the H2D. The only difference being with the H2C, you will have this vortex system that you will be lubing the guide rails for as well. And I will be putting out a video for all of the P series printers as well. So stay tuned, and I hope this helps.